Hey guys, Marsingin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the new LR Ultimate Gohan versus the Red Zone Super Buu. So this is a stage that certainly is interesting. I feel like the newest stage, the Buuhan one, is probably easier than this one. It can be tough at near the beginning, and then I think the buff Buu at the end does hit quite hard with his super. But the AoE super from Super Buu is certainly something that has been a roadblock for a lot of teams, a lot of units, just like Zamasu was before, like Omega can be, like even units that can get a decent bit of build up. When the AoE is a super that's doing like 1.5 million damage, characters that need to build up need to be pretty built up in order to be able to tank that reasonably well. So it's going to be interesting to see for this Gohan, because he is a unit that, whilst he has guard, his start of turn defense isn't the craziest. I actually didn't see who was in slot 7. Hopefully we do actually have Tech Gohan with him, or at least we can get them together for that phase, because of course Tech Gohan absolutely destroys Super Buu, and then this LR Gohan is going to want to be around him. So the thing is, when it comes to Super Buu, I'm not actually sure. I should double check his stats. Like, I don't know how much damage his normal attacks do, but the thing is, like, this, you're almost going to want to put this LR Gohan in slot 1, because the AoE is going to happen at some point during the turn, and this Gohan is much better defensively post super attack, and he doesn't have any built-in dodge. He doesn't have like a super attack negation or anything like that. Now he does have the active skill, so depending on whether he's on the first rotation against Super Buu or not, and how much damage we may have done if he's on the second rotation against Super Buu, him being able to use his active skill to get a bit of a buff, to buff everybody else's defense, like, that's going to be very good. But I don't know how that's going to translate into him like eating the AoE, because Super Buu's AoE, it's either 1.4 or 1.5 mil. And from some of the numbers we've seen, Gohan's start of turn defense is only at around like 3 to 400k. Now, when he's got some build up from previous supers, the active skill turn, I think in the 55% showcase he was about 800k. So on that turn with guard, he is living the AoE if it's before he's supered, but he's not tanking it for double digits or like 10k or something, right? So that is something that we have to be very aware of. And of course, the Evil Buu is not a particularly tough enemy. So you can see here, with how powerful this team is with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, we've absolutely blasted through Evil Buu here, and now we're on to Super Buu already. So we had double Goku turn as well. And we're not, oh god, yeah, this is bad, because we're not at the point where this guy can use his active skill yet, because it's so early. So we can't counter the super. We're just going to be relying on this guy to dodge it, basically. So let's keep those AGL orbs there. We got AGL and Tech orbs ready for the two Gohans. He's going to AoE straight away, so at least this Goku can negate it. We really need Dragon Fist Goku to dodge, though, otherwise he just dies. Good. And then look at that. Okay, that's what we love to see. That's why I love this Goku team. The triple Super Saiyan 3 Goku rotation, and we take 0 damage from the AoE super. You love to see that. Okay. Now, we will do a decent bit of damage, especially with the Goku in slot 3, because I think the friend is Rainbow. And of course, in slot 3, Goku gets a guaranteed additional super. So we probably will do a lot of damage here. Dragon Fist Goku does get a pretty high attack stat, but unless he crits, we are fighting an AGL enemy. So hopefully he doesn't crit, because ideally we want the HP to be high enough for Buu that we're getting all the extra attacks for Gohan. Although, of course, it's kind of like a weird situation, because if their HP is too high or above the threshold, you get the extra attacks from his passive. But if it's above the threshold and you're not at like turn 6, you can't use Gohan's active skill. Because I think his active skill is Majin Buu Saga ally on turn 6, or if the enemy is it above 58% or is it below? So if it's below, we can use his active skill, but we don't get the buff to his stats. And then if it's above, we get the buff and the extra 2 attacks that could transfer into supers, but we can't use the active skill because it's this early. I mean, we are literally going to be killing Super Buu here on turn 4, which is kind of crazy. I mean, he very much could just AoE and kill Gotenks here, but let's see what the attack placements are like for this turn. We've got 1 attack in slot 1. So what's the chances that that's the super? Yeah, we can use it. It's below the HP threshold, right? One enemy's HP is 58% or less, right? So let's go ahead and throw out the Gohan active skill here. And we'll see what we're looking at defense-wise. I mean, the funny thing is, because of how good Tech Gohan is, if we leave Tech Gohan in slot 1, we actually have the potential that he just kills Super Buu before Gohan even gets a chance to do anything. So that would be interesting. Oh yeah, of course, because the active skill does damage as well. So we're at what? 1,000,000 defense after the active skill. That's pretty good. So yeah, 1,000,000 defense here. Because yeah, I guess he gets the defense buffs when you count as using the active skill. He basically gets all the buffs that he would get from having 24 ki, which is why he's up to 1,000,000 defense. So we can now do this. And then this, and then, yeah, as long as the first attack isn't an AoE and Gotenks doesn't dodge. Okay. Come on, Gotenks. I need you to dodge here, buddy. So, still takes 147k. You took 258, and Gotenks did dodge. So then Gohan comes in with a 14.2. I mean, bear in mind, he's a unit that is stacking attack on his 18 ki super, so shorter events are obviously not going to be ideal for him in terms of dealing big numbers for damage. But I mean, still relatively decent looking. I'm still not sure how I feel about this Gohan, because now that we've fed the dupes in and link leveled him, that's the thing I should mention as well. I did the 55% showcase, but I fed the dupes in. The summon video is up already for those of you guys who have checked it out. So my Gohan is 90% and full level 10 links now. So I mean, there's not a huge difference between 90% and Rainbow. So from the numbers that I'm seeing, like, I don't know how impressed overall I am with this Gohan. He doesn't come out and become, like, immediately, you know, oh, he's the best, like, LR. In terms of yellow coin LRs, I guess he doesn't have the craziest amount of competition. It's what, like, you got units like LR, Ribrienne, I mean, Ginyu on JP, but of course not on Global. Bulma. It's interesting to think about how he compares to Bulma, because Bulma, who came out last year as the Part 2 LR, came out as a unit that was in contention for being the best unit in the game. But I would say for this Gohan, like, it's not even close, right? I don't think there are any arguments that he's the best unit in the game. Whereas on release, Bulma had arguments for being the best unit in the game, whereas this Gohan doesn't. So this is the build that I went with for him so far for the 90%. He's got 12 additional, 22 crit, because he has no crit in his passive at all. So if you are only going to be getting a bunch of additional normals, you ideally want to be critting in order to do damage. And then he's got 7 dodge just from the addition from some of the skill orbs. I think as I've used him a little bit, you guys let me know what you think down below. He doesn't need as much additional because he can get a bunch of extra attacks from his passive. But I feel like he was a unit when I read his kit. There was like, okay, he's got guard, he's getting a bunch of defense on supers, he probably doesn't really need to be a unit that has a lot of dodge. But the problem is, if you saw there, we used the active skill, we had 1,000,000 defense start of turn, he still took almost 200k from Super Buu's AoE. Now, AoEs, of course, are, you know, the odd thing out, because once he gets a couple of supers off, especially on that turn where he's at 1,000,000 defense before supering, like, he's not going to be taking much damage after he supers. But the problem is, if you start going up against these toughest bosses, especially when the anniversary content comes out, you get one of those turns where Gohan does a super and then 3 normals. And then he's going to be taking damage from these bigger super attacks. He does have the benefit of being AGL, but I think one of the events where Beast Gohan is the boss, he's physical at the end. And so I wonder what this Gohan will be looking like against him if he's only getting the 1 super and a couple of normals. Like, the active skill turn, he can look really, really good, but you have to remember that's only 1 turn as well. And then once that turn's passed, you don't have the active skill to fall back on. So Gohan is definitely I wouldn't say he's bad, right? He's a good unit. He's kind of fun. It is one of those things, like, I always liked STR LR Cooler when he came out, but you did have the potential for, you know, the worst RNG turn where you just do a bunch of additional normals. So I've always been someone who doesn't write off these RNG, like, risk or reward characters, but Gohan certainly isn't going to look super impressive as the, you know, 2024 Part 2 LR. If you get the worst possible RNG, like, he's really not going to look that great. which is a little bit disappointing. And for Bulma, like, she wasn't an RNG related character, right? She was a nuking style unit that changed orbs, but you only really needed 5 for the main thing that you wanted her to be doing. And so I think it's fairly unarguable to say that on release, Bulma was significantly better than Gohan is for his release as the Part 2 LR. But I do think he's really good. I don't want to be too hard on him because I do want to try him out a bit more. It'll be interesting to use him against the Buhan Red Zone stage, because that is a much longer event where you can get a lot of stacking in for his attack, because he's only stacking on the 18 key super. But the more often you get the unit super, that's a greatly raise. So, I mean, I could imagine we could get him to the point where he's dropping like over 20 mil on the 18 key. But then, of course, we've got units like Kefla, who, with the right rotation, is doing that like turn 2 or 3 potentially. So let me know what you guys think of Gohan down below. I mean, we managed the fight against Super Buu. That triple Goku turn where no one took any damage was definitely awesome. So let me know what you guys think of LR Ultimate Gohan down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.